Okay, hi everybody, and welcome back to
We're
Unbuttoned.
back after a hiatus.
Yeah, we took a hiatus, and I'm sure some of you can feel that Maycember.
Yes.
With just being a mom, having a business, all the things, it felt like we got swallowed up for a second there.
I just can't believe that the boys are like out of, by the time this airs, they're on spring break.
No summer break.
Summer break?
See, I'm telling you, May has been insane, and
In every sense.
Yeah.
Personally, work-wise.
Correct.
Everything.
Anything and everything you can think of.
We're calling
May has brought it.
a May crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And we're calling this episode Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste because it's just been craziness over here. And we wanted to update you guys. We've kind of, if you follow us on Instagram, you've kind of been in the loop on everything. But yeah, the past few weeks have been a state of like just change for us after just a lot of shifts and a little bit of, so the holidays were great for us, but every year, the interesting thing about
This is
retail,
work-wise. We're talking like Coco, the shop-wise.
The interesting thing about retail is like it's all about timing. Like it's about timing, and it's always a best educated guess. And last year we overbought for December, so we kind of went into the first 2 months of the year.
It wasn't so much that we overbought for December. We realized, and this is just, again, a learning curve.
Yeah.
We need to be dropping things a lot earlier.
Before December.
Like, when you see freaking all these stores, Hobby Lobby, and they have their Christmas stuff in
July.
the fall, and you're like, what is happening? We know what's happening now.
Yeah.
You got to give it time.
It's kind of annoying as a consumer, but like it's really just important to get your items out sooner than later, because if you get them out too late, then they just sit and
December is like May. It's crazy. There's so much going on, and we're just learning a cadence.
Yep.
With what, inventory wise, how much do we get? How much do we not? When we first started this, if you are like an OG, you know that we had less quantities of things, and things would sell out a lot quicker. And so we tried to get more quantities of inventory and try that route. And it's just always a guessing game of like what's going to work and what's not. And, we build out for some of that guessing game, but
it's always like a factor of like calculated risk that we have to take. And sometimes like it just is a risk that doesn't work out. And that's part of it. It's part of it. And it's also hard being in retail when the seasons, like the seasonality plays such a huge part in like our cash flow overall. Yeah. So January and February are just really tough months as it is. And then the international trade war comes about and is impacting prices and is impacting spending behavior, which we can completely relate to. It's just like a really uncertain time with the economy right now and all the changes that are happening. So we've had to take a really hard look the past few weeks and just really evaluate every aspect of the business and our spending and our processes and everything. And it's been really hard and really stressful, but it's also been like really good. And
if we've learned anything in doing this over the past couple of years, it's that our team in general is very adaptable and ready to jump in and change. This is not the first change we've made. This certainly won't be the last change we'll ever make. And we just have to go with the times, go with the flow, see what's working, see what's not. Some of our ideas, we think we're going to move to a little bit more of like a 2-drop per month system instead of the weekly. So, getting on the cadence of that, getting all of that organized, seeing how that works. Lots of good changes though too. We've opened the doors to the shop. So if you ever want to like come in and shop, we are open from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. Yep. Check Instagram before you come in case there's ever like an emergency where we have to close the doors and whatnot. But for the most part, we are open Monday through Friday. But you will see on our Instagram if we're closed. So that shouldn't be a problem. But we know how hard it is to shop online, and we want to give a little bit more time for people to come in and really try stuff on. Yep. So that's the change we're going to make. Like I said, the drop cadence, kind of how we're buying, a lot of like behind the scenes things, which will be good for us. It's just been a lot of like logistical figuring out, like who's doing what, when's this happening, when's that happening. But you know, that's the work piece of Maycember. And then there's
Yeah.
the life piece of Maycember.
Yep.
Elizabeth and I both had a death in our families.
Yep.
And
Of course, that has
in
to
May.
happen at like the most stressful time of change at work that we've
Yes.
had in a very long time.
We both had the stomach flu in May.
Yes.
All our kids are all getting out of school, so there's 17,000 events and different things to do.
Yeah, just missed one of them today on accident, actually.
Our
So
husbands
if
have been out of
you've
town
missed
for
things-
work.
Yes.
I mean, you name it, and May's brought it to us.
Yeah.
And we just are ready to say toodaloo
We're
to
ready
May.
for June. Yeah.
We're done. About done. I was laughing. I had texted my husband yesterday. Maybe it was a couple days ago, but whatever. Timing doesn't matter. And I was like, I think that maybe potentially I'm going through a midlife crisis. I need to buy a really cool car and go lay in the sun and run away.
A really cool car. That's so
And
unlike
he said,
you.
I know, I don't even care about cars. I literally don't. However, I just like, I think I'm having a midlife crisis. And he said, okay, I could maybe help with the sun thing. But, and I was like, all right, he's reining me back in. But truly, if you've ever felt like, what is happening around
Yeah.
me? What is going on? We
Yeah.
feel you. We had to take a pause from this podcast for a little bit just to keep our head above water. Truly,
Yeah.
we were drowning.
Yep.
And I know that I'm sure lots of you can relate to that drowning feeling in life sometimes where you're like,
Totally.
I have something's got to give for a second
Yeah.
here. And we collectively just took a pause, but we are so glad we're back with you guys. And we hope that you all are excited to listen again.
Yes.
And we appreciate you guys just kind of
Yeah.
being there with us through our pause.
I
And
know. Thank you guys so much. We truly, like, throughout the past month, I mean, always, but like, especially in the past month, I think that we've all had this like crazy, humbling realization of how like freaking awesome our people are.
yeah,
Like, literally, it has been so cool to just be like vulnerable and share kind of what we're going through with you guys and be met with such support, like genuine. I mean, people that we aren't even personally friends with, but shop with us, and we've gotten to know them over the years of just coming in here and seeing them at events and stuff, like personally reaching out to us
Yeah.
with encouragement and support. And it like, even though this month has been so hard, it's also been
eye-opening for us.
so eye-opening in so many ways. Like,
And
I
it's
know
also
we'll look
really
back and be
neat
like,
because, you know, people talk about community all the time and whatnot.
but truly,
But it's really cool to see like a community come together, a community of,
Yeah.
you know, like
yeah,
women that we've built or whatever you want to call it. But
yeah.
it's really cool. And speaking of community, we've like started doing some more like events here and there, like pop-ups, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we just love those.
I know.
Like, it's so cool to see, one, our customers in their environment, and
Yep.
two, just like we love meeting new faces and whatnot. And it's just, it's
Yeah.
been really neat. But all
Yeah.
that to say, we feel you
Yeah.
if you are
Yep.
there right now. And we are so close to June, everybody. Hold
I
on.
know. Hold on tight.
Hold on really tight. But I have missed like the podcast and
Just
laughing and
chit-chatting.
stories and
Yeah.
chit-chatting. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's recap a few things that have happened this month in a positive light that I'm like, we got to chit chat on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We, I don't think you've watched it, but Savannah and I watched that Karen Reed trial.
I have not. I literally haven't like been up to date on anything at all on any of that. Like Diddy, any of it.
Oh, okay. Like I think that's clear. I love a good court case.
Yes.
And if you guys have not seen Buried in the Snow or Man in the Snow, something like that on HBO, it's the first trial of this Karen Reed trial.
Okay, so who's Karen Reed? I don't even know who
Okay,
that
so
is.
it's this woman who is being charged with like murder of her boyfriend who was a Boston police officer.
Okay.
But the whole trial is surrounded around, is she being framed for this murder, and like other cops, like there was something going on and
Like
they're
an
covering it
insider
up.
job.
Correct.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that
I remember you guys talking
They're
about that.
covering it up. So that's the premise. And it's so good. And the second trial is going on right now because the first ended in a mistrial.
Yeah.
So that was like my guilty pleasure in May, was just diving into
Yeah.
this trial.
Yeah.
We also, you guys, have secured a lawyer to come on the pod in June. So if you have lawyer questions, send them in because I
It's
am
gonna be
going
such a
to
fun one.
just love it.
It's going to be such a good one.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's June or July. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at the date we secured, but it's going to be so fun. Not that this is like a crime podcast by any means, but I just
We love it.
wanted to circle back because we
Yeah.
talked about that and we just love a good
Yeah.
crime case. But so that took up some of my time in May. Like I said, a bunch of kids events, sporting events, whatnot.
Soccer has been insane.
Yeah, I'm like, what are some other things we've done in May that
I have been watching Handmaid's Tale. That's like really the
Yeah.
only thing I've been watching. I've always loved it. This season's really good. And then I just finished last night. I finished Reminders of Him, the book by Colleen Hoover. That was one that I haven't read of hers. That was really good and a really easy read, and really just like so like heartbreaking, but like happy at the same time. It was just like a really great love story. So if you need a book to read, that's an easy one. I read it in like 3 days.
Look at you reading. I'm over here watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I haven't read anything after I read the Fourth Wing series. I like needed a break from reading, so I did just like watch a lot of TV there for a minute. I'm trying to think what else I watched though. It wasn't just Handmaids. What else have I been watching?
I've watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I've watched.
Oh, we finally watched White Lotus. Although I still haven't done.
I have not watched the newest season yet.
I haven't either.
What else have we watched? I'm like blanking on all of our shows that we've watched recently.
We've been so busy with soccer.
I know. I've watched that Good Girls on Netflix here and there when I have time.
That's a great show. That's a great, like, funny show if you need something.
It's just
like,
an easy, little turn-on show. It's not new by any means, but it's cute. You guys turned me on to that recently, and I was like, okay, that was cute.
Last weekend, I was with family in New Jersey, and that was, like, just all-consuming for, like, a week. And we're going back there in a couple weeks with my whole family, which I'm really excited about. But, yeah, I mean, this month I feel like has just been, like, an absolute blur.
Yeah.
Like that day that we were
and
like,
you know what?
doing a warehouse sale. Like that feels like it was an eternity ago.
100 years ago, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But since then, we have just not stopped.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And this weather does not help.
I know.
We are like, what's happening? What's the date today? I don't know, the Thursday before Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And
it
it's
doesn't feel like
cold.
Memorial Day weekend, that's for sure.
No.
My boys both have soccer tournaments this weekend, and then we get a little break.
Yeah, that's nice.
For like a little bit, which will be really nice. Although honestly, I've like really enjoyed soccer this season. I feel
like going to those things. That doesn't bother me as much.
I used to like get all bent out of shape about it, but I think that like it's just getting more fun now that they are getting more into it and like their teams are getting better.
Yeah.
And like having seen their teams play together for several years and how much they've improved and stuff, like I've actually really enjoyed the soccer season. I'll kind of miss it a little bit. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah.
This weekend I'm taking my oldest to his tournament in Indianapolis. It's the only like out of town travel that we have to do, but I'm actually looking forward to just like hanging with him, staying at the Holiday Inn and swimming in the indoor pool with all of his teammates. It's like such a core memory of doing that as a kid, and I'm like excited to do that with him. So that'll be fun.
That made me think of, I was telling the girls earlier that my son at school made a summer bucket list, and his was so simple. It was like, play with my soccer ball and go on vacation and play in the sand.
I love that.
So if you had to name 3 things on your summer bucket list, what would they be?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I just honestly love for summer to just be like chill. We're going to Ocean City, New Jersey, staying on the boardwalk, and I'm excited to do that because the last time we were there as a family, Peter J was like 1.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's been a while.
And it's like so fun for the kids because the boardwalk, it's like arcades and shops and
they're gonna love it.
You know, putt-putt and just it'll be really fun. So I'm excited to take them there because Peter doesn't remember it, and Benji and William both haven't been. And we'll get to hang out with my aunt and uncle and stuff, and all the cousins all in one house for a few days. So fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. And then after that, the weekend after that is Peter's birthday, and we're going to the U.S. Open.
Nice.
But I'm trying to think of bucket list. I really want to take the kids to Kings Island. We did that last summer, and that was really fun. I still love Kings Island as an adult.
I'm a Cedar Point gal, but I still like Kings Island.
I think I went to Cedar Point one time as a kid, but I barely remember it.
So you weren't like a ride warrior, you know?
I was at Kings Island, though. I could tell you.
Yeah, but Kings Island compared to Cedar Point's like...
It's just closer.
I mean, I still like go to Kings Island, but I feel like there's nothing like the Millennium Force or the Dragster. Like at Kings Island, I'm like, what are you going on the beast?
I did ride both of those. I remember both of those. Millennium Force is the one with the huge hill.
Yeah, and like right by the water where you feel like you're like, just, I'm going to die.
And then the Dragster is the one that like goes up and then back down, right?
Yeah, but I think that they took the Dragster down and they're putting something like a Dragster 2 there or something like that. Yeah, I don't think that like the Dragster we know is up, but maybe we need to make a little trip and go find out what's there. But I will say this. I used to love roller coasters. Like, I mean,
Same.
I went every summer. I loved it. The older I get, the more afraid of heights I am, and the more like,
Yeah.
like all just my stomach's turning, and I'm like, who am I?
It is kind of like terrifying when you think really hard about it.
It really is. That's why I try not to
is.
think
I've
about
always
it.
loved them.
The thing I don't like, this is another thing why I like Cedar Point better than Kings Island. Kings Island has a lot of wooden rides.
Yes.
And I swear to God, I come out of there and my neck is half
shakes
broken.
your
I have a
fucking
headache.
organs. I know.
I'm like, oh my God, that
Like
was
the
like
Beast,
jarring. I'm probably like bruised.
I really do get like a headache in the back of my head from
Yeah,
that
where
on.
I'm like, oh my God, get with the times. Make these out of metal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're just a little bit more jolting.
Yeah.
And
have you ever had like a kind of scary experience on a roller coaster? Like I have this vivid memory of being young and feeling like I was way too small in the thing.
you were going to like
and
slip
like
out.
going on the loops, I was like literally like moving like upside down. I was like moving around in there. Have you ever like had that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. And I worry about that with my kids.
Same.
But I think that the point is like, it's okay if you're moving around, but like the force will like hold you in. Something about like
Yeah.
science-y, like that's the point. But I don't know any of that stuff. So of course I'm just panicking.
Terrifying. Yeah. I just can't really think about it.
I
much.
don't. If I think about it, I would never do it because I'd be like, "This is." And then when you hear about people get stuck on a roller coaster, I'm like, "Oh my God!" If I did, I can tell you right now, I'd be freaking out.
Oh my God, I know. I got stuck on a freaking ski lift in Breckenridge one time, and that was
freak me out, too.
terrifying because you know
You're like dangling.
you're
there.
dangling, and it
No,
was so
no.
windy. We were like at the top of a snowy mountain, and we were stuck there for what felt like forever, and like the ground was so far away. Yeah,
no.
that was worse than
I mean,
any
I can-
roller coaster experience.
Even just like the being on freaking Mad River
I know.
one. Sometimes we get to the top, and I'm like, "All right, I got to get off this thing. It's
I know.
making me queasy."
Yeah, ski lifts. It
They also
amazes me how unsafe.
I was
ski
just about
lifts
to say.
still continue to
Well,
be.
also we went to Mad River this year, and they had the bar that came down. And when we used to go for ski club when I was younger, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was not a thing."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Good Lord,
But like that bar, like what the hell
What's
is that
that doing?
doing?
I know.
You can slip out of the bottom so easily.
I can't even talk about
know.
it again."
I know.
That just makes my like skin crawl a little bit. But okay, so your
I thought of a
bucket list is
I thought of one. I really want to go see my cousin Casey. He lives in Scottsdale. And
Okay.
I've never been to Scottsdale, and we made a pact. I made a pact to be better about keeping in touch with him. We've always lived in different states. So like it's just been easy, but we're the exact same age. We like grew up together, and I really want to go visit him and his girlfriend. I got to meet his girlfriend last weekend, and I really want to go visit them. I don't know if we'll do it this summer because it's going to be like 120 degrees there.
yeah. I was gonna say
But
Arizona
maybe
in the
like
summer.
early fall.
Nice.
I really want to do that, and just him and Peter and I go out there and hang out.
That'd be fun.
Maybe go to a concert or like plan something. But
Yeah.
that's my most recent like bucket list
Nice.
trip that has been on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Those are good ones. Similar. We're going on a family vacation. We're going on two. One with my husband's family and one with mine.
Where are you guys going again?
With Hunter's family, we go to Michigan,
Oh, yeah.
up in like Harbor Springs, and all the cousins will get to be together
you
in the
guys
house
do
and
that
stuff.
every
And
year. Yeah.
they have a big 4th of July parade, and it'll be
Yeah.
really fun. And then we go to Hilton Head with my family, which we do just about every year, and all the cousins get to be together, and we
fun.
rent a big house and stuff. So it will be a lot of fun. I'm
So
looking
fun.
forward to both of those. I just like need a good old fashioned family
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. We are doing a few like random things this summer, like going brewing,
Fun.
and we're like just doing random
So
stuff
fun.
that we have on the schedule.
Yeah.
But I want to do a few like sporting events with the kids, like a Clippers game of this, that.
Yeah.
My kids love doing that type of
Yeah.
stuff. We are going to take them to the tournament next week and whatnot.
That'll be
So
fun.
just like stuff like that with
Yeah.
the kids. And I always love going to the pool with my kids. Growing up, I remember going to the pool, and it was just like
Such a
quintessential
core memory.
summer
Yeah.
core memory.
Yeah.
And my kids are pool kids. Like they
Yeah.
could stay there all day, and it's just fun.
I also have a bucket list item, sort of not bucket list, but a thing that I want to do is go visit Peter's sister and her family in Denver. We haven't done that in a really long
Nice.
time. I was telling these guys, my cousin passed away, and my family, just my core family, so like my mom, my dad, and my 3 sisters, and my aunt Jane was with us too. But no husbands, no kids, just my family. We're stuck in a car together.
Yeah, which like when does that happen
For
anymore?
like 11 straight hours. We shared hotel rooms, and then we turned around for another 11 straight hours. And honestly, it was like great just to hang out us. You know, like once husbands and boyfriends and kids come into the mix, it's like amazing to get to do these trips like with them and get the cousins together and stuff. But like the last time we did that, I think I was in high school.
Right.
And it was just really cool to just kind of be like forced to do that.
Yeah.
And the circumstances sucked, obviously, but we like laughed so much. We have been texting all week, like funny things that my dad said or did, or Katie, you know, she's so entertaining. But it was really special. And after that, I was like, I feel like it is so hard when you have like relatives or even friends, close friends that don't live close to you. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to just fall out of touch, like with the craziness of life, especially in a month like May, where it's like you can't even keep your head above water. But I really want to be better about planning things out like that. Because it just is like, it's just, life just happens. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I haven't seen that person in 3 years.
I feel like that's also the struggle, because it's like, I battle with that inside where I'm like, oh, I want to plan all these things and do all these things with people that like, I maybe haven't had enough time to do or this or that. But then the other side of me is like,
you gotta
maybe
say
I
no.
just want to stay at home to hang. And like,
100%.
you know, it's just so hard because of course you want to do all the things and see all the people. And
that's why I want to be better about planning it out. You know what I mean? Because like then it's not like just feeling like this hamster wheel, which we've used that term a lot lately because that's one of the things that we're trying to like hone in on here in the office is just stopping the constant hamster wheel. But like if I can plan it out in advance, then I can say like, okay, the weekend before I am saying no to plans because that's like so valid. Like also saying no sometimes when you know you need to. And I mean, traveling's also a lot of work, but more so just trying to make an effort.
Totally. And long story short, just
even just
trying to have a good summer, just trying to hang with people we love and get back into the swing of things. But anyways,
slow down a little bit.
Yeah, we're excited to be back on the pod.
We
are.
We're getting ready to shoot our first June collection, which is nutso.
It's crazy.
But it's really cute. Lots of color, lots of dresses. Mm-hmm. It'll be our last like big dress drop. We'll have a couple sprinkled throughout the summer, but this will be like lots and lots of dresses. We have some sets, some tops.
Yeah, if you have like weddings or showers or graduations or whatever, this is your drop. So come by and look. And don't forget, we now have open hours to shop Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. You can always order online. Returns and exchanges available. And don't forget with the podcast to subscribe and leave a review if you feel inclined. That's always helpful for us. And we're just glad to be back on the train.
We totally are. And it would mean so much to us if you guys would do that because eventually we would love for this podcast to be able to generate some revenue for us. Yeah. And honestly, like just
and like get some cool guests and this and that. And like, you know, we've said this before, we don't think we realized like the business perspective behind podcasts. Yeah. But
we need your ratings and reviews and your downloads to get to that point. And we'll be here just working through it until then. But we appreciate you guys listening and sticking with us through the past month of absolute ridiculousness.
Yeah, and honestly, we'll always keep it real. And like the fact that we took a little break because we needed it for mental health. Like we're gonna keep it real. We're not going to make up an excuse.
Totally.
Like, we were on break because we just really needed to tap out for a sec. But we're back. So
we're back.
We'll chit chat weekly with you guys now again.
Mondays, we'll always be here and check back next week. We love you guys and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.